And I don't think any of them at the end of the day want to think that they stood by and allowed poachers to lead us to a world where the rhinoceros is extinct, where the elephant can only be seen in a zoo. As chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, one of the things I do is when we travel to Latin America, when we travel to Africa or Central Asia, we make this part of our dialogue, and thanks to the ICCF, we now have in worldwide these caucuses that are active, whether we're in Peru or Colombia or Mexico or whether we're in sub-Saharan Africa, you have these vibrant caucuses now that are engaged, that care. And yes, it is important that our parliamentarians or members of Congress are interchanging or are exchanging information and encouragement. Well, besides our humanitarian and environmental interests, you have the fact that with a group like Al-Shabaab or with other terrorist organizations, they will carry out, for example, an attack on a national park in Africa. This is a real-life example. Took out 170 elephants, sold those tusks, those ivory tusks, and they wouldn't have done it had it not been possible to trade those tusks for ammunition. It received the ammunition, went back to the local college, slaughtered the students in the college. It's a direct example of how it is a national security issue as we see terrorist organizations as well as criminal organizations flourish on the backs of exploitation, on slaughter of elephants and rhinos for the ivory, for the rhino horn. And the answer to this is for the United States to get more engaged directly with the park rangers. We have the satellite technology that we can share with them. We can train them. We can give them the support. And we can name and shame those countries that refuse to be part of the solution. And that's what we do, with the Anti-Poaching Act that the president signed, my bill that's now law. But it couldn't have happened without the support of the ICC. And I thank you all very much for helping us get that through the Senate and get it signed into law. I think that moment for me, it wasn't in Africa. It was actually sitting down with John Tanner and Congressman Udall, Clay Shaw, and Dave Barron. And it was a discussion about the fact that we were not going to be around. And as we looked at the projection of where these species would become extinct, was there a way to put together a caucus? And this is the question I remember asking. Could we form a caucus that would be here long after we're gone? Could we put enough support behind it? Could we get the NGOs to broaden it? It didn't occur to me at that time that the ICCF would find a way to encourage the establishment of those caucuses across Europe and Latin America and sub-Saharan Africa. But I think that the concept of doing that and bringing the NGO community along, and then subsequently educating the members of the House and Senate and getting them on board, that was the moment when we put in place something that would be sustainable in terms of the supervision, the enforcement on what we would do legislatively, but also to perpetually encourage new members in the House and Senate to get into this fight for sustainability, for conservation, for protecting, and making certain that the future is a bright one, and a lot's on the line.